Are we live? Everybody in here? All right, we got the 102 today. W. I'm happy with that. And see if there's anybody else we recognize in here. Snowman's in here with us. Surprise, surprise. What's up, Snowman? You in the chat, buddy? How you doing, boss? Did everybody have a great and spectacular weekend? I know I did. Yes, we're starting early. I apologize. I'm sorry. And we got the all clear. All right, let's go. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get the thumbnail correlation, especially since we're drafting at the 102. It would be nice to get Ja'Marr Chase here. But obviously, if Justin Jefferson goes, or if Justin Jefferson is available to us at the 102, we'll gladly take him. Didn't make the draft, but here we are. I'm so sorry, man. I tried to give you a heads up, brother. You know I love you to pieces. Forgive me. Has everybody had a chance to check out our quarterbacks tier list? How do you feel about it? Talk to me. Tell me you like it. Tell me you love it. I like it. I love it. We're just waiting for the draft to get going, and then we'll talk about what we're doing here on drafters and how it works. I actually have some slides for you fellas and fellerinas. Oh, Justin Jefferson gone at the 101. So we're going to take Justin Jefferson or Ja'Marr Chase, sorry, at the 102. It is way past my bedtime, but you guys asked for this late stream, so I'm going to give you this late stream. So we'll just talk about briefly what we're doing, and then we'll catch up with the draft after that. We're doing a best ball tournament here on Drafters. There's 2 different tournaments. So see, guys, I did awesome here. So there's 2 kinds of tournaments. The first tournament is the Drafters 2 million. It's a $20 buy-in. First place gets $300,000. There's over $2 million in winnings. The one we're currently doing right now is the $3 mini, the Drafters $3 mini. First place gets $30,000. There's over $300,000 in total winnings to all different placements. How best ball works, it's the most convenient way to draft. You have 20 rounds to fill your roster for depth. Each week, a starting lineup is composed of the following positions: 1 quarterback, 3 wide receivers, 2 running backs, 1 tight end. At the end of the week, the best overall performances on your roster will be submitted in your weekly matchup. So no more leaving points on the bench, no more waiver wires, no more trades. None of that. It's the most convenient way to draft. You literally just draft it and forget it unless you're in the money in, you know, the winning bracket of the price points I showed you earlier. So like say you got Dak Prescott, say you got Tua Tagovailoa, and you say you got Daniel Jones. You went 3 quarterbacks back to back to back. Say Daniel Jones shits the bed. Say Tua has a horrible night and Dak balls out. Dak's points would be appointed to your weekly matchup, and you wouldn't have to deal with, you know, oh shit, you know, I left points on the bench. So it works great in the tight end position as well. So say you draft like a Darren Waller and a Kyle Pitts, as opposed to having to, you know, start one and worry about flexing the other. If they both ball out, well, you get one in the tight end slot, you get one in the flex spot. It is PPR format, so that's points per reception. So you're going to see wide receivers go early and often. Speaking of wide receivers going early and often, let's catch up on the draft. So after we take Ja'Marr Chase at the 102, Tyreek Hill goes off the board. Our boy Snowman 089, the winner of our first 2 million ticket giveaway. So congratulations to Snowman. Great to see you in here, buddy. He goes with CMC. After CMC is gone at the 4 spot, Cooper Kupp is taken. Travis Kelce goes off the board at the 6. At the 7, you got Austin Eckler. At the 8, Stephon Diggs. At the 9, Bijan. So we did not get our correlation for the thumbnail. It is what it is. We're not going to get him at the 102. I'll never do that. The only time I'll ever get a share of Bijan Robinson, and I know I'm doing a little sidebar here, is if he falls to the second round. He's not falling to the second round yet. Then CeeDee Lamb at the 10, AJ Brown at the 11. You got St. Brown at the 12, and around the bend, you got Saquon, Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams, Jonathan Taylor, Jalen Waddle, T. Higgins, somebody who I'm not high on, but it would have been nice to get that double stack there. Devontae Smith, Chris Olave, and we're all caught up. Anybody here in the chat? And we're on the board. So Nick Chubb is gone. It would have been nice to have gotten Nick Chubb, but it is what it is. So we'll go with a running back here. Let's take Ramondre Stevenson. We like the pick. Let's see what Mike Matty does with his next two picks, and then hopefully we can snag a receiver on the way back. But if we cannot snag a receiver on the way back, I don't feel comfortable reaching for a quarterback this early. Not right now. We got 6 people up in here. I missed you guys too. So he reaches for the Lamar Jackson and Mark Andrews stack. All right. I know I said I wanted a receiver here, but a receiver doesn't necessarily make sense, especially with, the teardrop. And no, I'm not crying. So I think we're going to get our first share of Derrick Henry. Yes, Derrick Henry's falling into the 3rd round. And yes, we're taking advantage of a broken ADP, and you can too. So if you sign up today on Drafters Fantasy Sports, use code DISCODRAFTS1 and get up to $100 matched with your initial deposit. All transactions are done in US dollars. All of the promo codes suck. I mean, they're 50% of your initial deposit. Mine is 100% because we're big Drafters Energy and we're not little Drafters Energy, and I make sure I take care of you folks. So sign up today using code DISCODRAFTS1. Remember, all transactions are done in US currency. If you're subscribed to our channel, you use DISCODRAFTS1 in your initial deposit, and you comment in our live chat, and you may be eligible to win a complimentary free ticket entry that's $20 value into the Drafters 2 million. So you could potentially come away with $300,000 simply by subscribing to our channel. Oh, and you also got to comment Disco Drafts in the chat. Nevertheless, let's catch up on the draft. So after we go with Derrick Henry in the 3rd round at the 2 slot, Jalen Hurts is gone. DK Metcalf taken off the board. Josh Jacobs gone. So we're seeing that S tier of quarterbacks be taken off the board. This is the first time I've seen all Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, and Josh Allen fall to the 3rd round. It's the first time I've seen Lamar Jackson be taken ahead of all 3 of the names I had just mentioned. So the S tier is all gone. So after Mahomes and Josh Allen, Najee Harris is taken. I need me more Najee Harris, even though I have a lot of shares of Najee Harris. Then Calvin Ridley is taken off the board. Deebo Samuel gone. So we got more news now about more gambling situations in the NFL locker room. I have not been able to catch up to see who it was in the Indianapolis Colts. Does anybody have an idea who the player was that they caught, or who it's rumored to be? And yes, we still don't have any DeAndre Hopkins news. So after Deebo Samuel's gone, Jahmyr Gibbs is taken, then Breece Hall, and then around the bend, Amari Cooper has been picked up. So I know we got a couple of guys who are in our live stream and also in this draft. I would love to get a Joe Burrow stack right now with my boy Jamar Chase. That would be lovely. But if that doesn't happen, we do need wide receiver, and we need wide receiver pretty much every pick until we find a good. Oh, we got a chat. My mustache is doing that crazy thing again. Why didn't anybody tell me? All right, Snowman089 says Chester Rogers CB is what I read. This would have been his first year to actually start. That's sad. That's sad. So instead of starting and filling into the starting lineup, he chooses to gamble. It's so foolish. So after Amari Cooper is taken around the bend, Travis Etienne is gone. Hopkins taken, Keenan Allen gone, Drake London gone, Jerry Jeudy gone. We are seeing a very, very heavy run on the wide receiver position. Our boy Snowman's coming up, and he's probably going to snag my boy Joe Burrow just because he's petty, and I like him. I like him because he's petty. Christian Watson off the board. Just waiting to make our picks. The more I think about drafting Bijan Robinson, the more I want to invest. Saquon, his first year, I wanted to draft him at the 101 or the 102. Zeke, his first year, I wanted to draft him at the 101 or the 102. Why wouldn't I do that with Bijan? He has all the tools to succeed. He has a phenomenal offensive line. He has a coach who wants to force the run. Oh, Snowman goes Terry McLaurin. So Christian Kirk, Terry McLaurin off the board. We're up. We get our stack. Is it ideal based on our roster construction? No, but the fact that we get a Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase stack is phenomenal. Now we just need to go really heavy on wide receivers. And I'm just reading the room, and I know KG may start going to other positions. He's already got 3 wide receivers. We're on the board again, so we'll shut up for a sec. All right. We'll go with God. All right. We'll go with Mike Williams. Very touchdown dependent, very high ceiling, but we also know that he's part of that highly injured room in I wanted to say San Diego. Does that make me old? Because I wanted to say San Diego. In the Los Angeles Chargers locker room. After we take Mike Williams, Justin Fields is off the board, somebody who I really want to start getting more exposure to. He's going to have elite numbers. I believe he had like around 1,500 passing yards last season, which is not ideal. But I think with a new fortified O-line, the investment in Justin Fields in terms of surrounding him with more talent at the receiver position, we should see the arm that we fell in love with when he was at the University of Ohio. George Kittle taken off the board. So who do we think is going to start now for the 49ers? Kenneth Walker taken off the board. It would have been nice to have gotten him, but we're good at running back. I hear people saying, well, I mean, if Brock Purdy's healthy, Brock Purdy's a starter no matter who else is there. I just don't see a world where that's happening. If Brock Purdy and Trey Lance are both healthy, you got to start Lance, right? Tyler Lockett gone off the board after Kenneth Walker. Marquise Brown, he's going earlier and earlier in all of these drafts. You got to get a Clayton Tune stack because I don't think Kyler's going to be ready, man. And I think Tune is actually the truth. After Marquise Brown's gone, we got a potential suspension candidate with Joe Mixon taken off the board. I do like him at this value, though. What round are we in? In round 5, mid-round 5, Joe Mixon is still available. Michael Pittman Jr. taken off the board after that. Somebody who I'm starting to not be as high on. After Michael Pittman's taken off the board, Damian Pierce is gone. Then Miles Sanders, I am not getting any sort of exposure to Miles Sanders. I don't want it. I'd rather get Chuba in a much later round because I know Miles Sanders hates football. J.K. Dobbins gone, somebody who I do need more exposure to. And if I do get J.K. Dobbins, I would love to also get that handcuff with Gus Edwards in like the 16th, 17th round. After J.K.'s gone, we got Deontay Johnson, Justin Herbert, who should have a revitalized season with Kellen Moore now, the offensive coordinator in the San Diego, Los Angeles Chargers offense. Aaron Jones falling to the 6th round. That's why you need to get on now, and you need to sign up early because you get to get guys like Joe Mixon in the 5th round and Aaron Jones in the 6th round. You're telling me you're expecting Deontay Johnson to outperform Aaron Jones? Michael Pittman to outperform Aaron Jones? I don't see a world where that's happening. I know it's PPR, but it's also common sense. So after Aaron Jones is taken off the board, Trevor Lawrence is gone, the guy who I have favored to win this year's most valuable player. After Trevor Lawrence is taken off the board, Treylon Burks is gone, somebody who I'd like exposure to, but not at this ADP. Then Kyle Pitts is gone. I like Kyle Pitts. Brandon Ayuk is gone. I only like Brandon Ayuk if Brock Purdy is a starting quarterback. I don't know how I feel if it's Trey Lance. I don't know how I feel about Debo. I don't know how I feel about Kittle. The only guy I want is CMC if Trey Lance is starting, and obviously Trey Lance. I don't know how that works there. All right, on the board right now, we got our boy Snowman. Let's see what he does. And he goes Jordan Addison, then Dallas Goedert. I think Mike Evans is still available. Yes, he is. So gladly snag a Mike Evans at the end of the 6th. Great value there. If everybody else is fading him, I'm not. All right. Kadarius Toney, DeAndre Swift, George Pickens, Darren Waller. We're not drafting Darren Waller anymore. We got way too much exposure to him. All right. I have next to no exposure to Kadarius Toney. Typically, I'd go Dalvin Cook, Swift, Waller, Pickens, then Toney. But when you've done 30 plus of these drafts, you need to start getting exposure elsewhere. If it was redraft league, 100% I would go either DeAndre Swift, Waller, or Dalvin Cook. But we are desperate for wide receivers. So far our draft is going pretty well. We have Joe Burrow at the quarterback position. We got Ramondre Stevenson and Derrick Henry to lead our very strong rushing room. I like that rushing room. We got Jamar Chase, Mike Williams, Mike Evans, and Kadarius Toney at the wide receiver position. I think we're doing all right. Let's look at our boy Snowman's draft. We're judging you, Snowman. I hope you're listening. So you go CMC, Tony Pollard, DK Metcalf, Terry McLaurin, George Kittle, Jordan Addison, Quentin Johnson. So he's going rookie heavy, but he has a very solid, well-rounded draft going. Do you guys see? Oh, we got a chat. G Gentry saying, where is Cook ending up? In my humble and honest opinion, I've been saying Miami from from the jump, the moment that the Minnesota Vikings removed him off of the twinner batter. I said Miami would be the ultimate fit. I don't see him going and taking work and money out of his brother's pocket and ending up in Buffalo, even though it would be an ideal situation for him to be in Buffalo, just based on fit. So I think Miami is the best fit for Dalvin Cook. I know that the Vikings are still fielding trades or trade talks for Dalvin, but no other team wants to bite on the $14 million cap penalty that Dalvin Cook would hit him with. So we're just waiting for him to be released. And the moment he's released, he's going to have to clear that 48-hour waiver period. And once he clears that 48-hour waiver period, he should not be pulling a DeAndre Hopkins where he's looking for $20 million. He's probably going to settle for like a smaller one-year contract, play for a bag, and play for a Super Bowl. But yes, G Gentry, thank you for tuning in. Have you subscribed to our YouTube channel, G Gentry? If you have, thank you. If you haven't, what are you doing with your life? All right. So after we take Tony Davis, Gabe Davis is taken off the board. If Hopkins ends up going to Buffalo, Gabe Davis becomes redundant and useless. After Gabe Davis taking our good friend Snowman 089 takes Quentin Johnston. Then Darren Waller goes off the board. What round is this? Round 7. Darren Waller, round 7. Then DeAndre Swift, George Pickens, Deshaun Watson, Jahan Dotson, Rashad White, Brandon Cooks, James Conner, Zay Flowers, who I'm very high on, Rashad Bateman, who I'm not very high on, Dak Prescott, Evan Ingram, Elijah Moore, David Montgomery, James Cook, speak of the devil, and he shall appear. And we're all caught up. Let's look at the value that we have available to us. And right now, Dalvin Cook is still available. He would be our first pick right now. If you guys know me, you know I cannot stand Cortland Sutton. I don't want anything to do with Cortland Sutton. I'd rather get a Marvin Mims. Litton like a kitten. Here. What's up, Litton like a kitten? How you doing? How you doing? Should I get Brock Purdy? See what I did there? It's a dad joke. Have you subscribed to the channel, Litton like a kitten? All right. Cortland Sutton taken off the board, so thank God. Dalvin Cook gone. Let me guess. Yep, Snowman sniped us because he's here in the chat. It's going to happen. That's why I should keep my thoughts to myself, but I got to fill, and that's okay. And the fact that Isaiah Pacheco is still available, he's the number one running back in Kansas City, and Kansas City running backs, the number one running back, gets a lot of work, a lot of volume, and I am not opposed to getting more exposure to Isaiah Pacheco because I have way too much exposure to Dalvin Cook. All right. Now, we do really need a tight end. And I'm just trying to see yeah, not really much in terms of tight end. So I think we're going to go with a quarterback, guy with a high ceiling. And we're going to go with Mr. Character himself, Anthony Richardson. If you guys watched the quarterback tier list video that we posted last night, and if you haven't, I'm going to tell the story anyways. But there's a tweet put out that during a rookie event, after the seminar was done and all the rookies were leaving, Anthony Richardson stayed behind because he said, and I quote, "The room is in an unacceptable condition. We left it in a mess, and it's not okay." And he told that to former Patriots wide receiver, Super Bowl champ, Troy Vincent, who is, I forgot what he does with the NFL now, but I think he's like the head of player representatives or some junk like that. But yeah, I think the high character paired with being a super freak athlete, it just shows that like this guy's got all the right mental, he's got the right mental approach to be a very good, successful quarterback. So high character and high work ethic go hand in hand. And if you got an incredible skill set and athleticism, I want you on my team. I like you. And we'll catch up with the chat. Litton like a kitten says, "Good pick. Thank you." I'm assuming you're, oh, I know who you are. Litton like a kitten says, "AR5 for life." Anthony Richardson's wearing number 5. Good to know. Good to know. All right, so Anthony Richardson, after we take him, Damian Harris goes off the board. Kirk Cousins gone. Samaje Perine, somebody who I really like and have way too much exposure to. Then A.J. Dillon. Then Jameson Williams. I mean, if he comes back after 6 weeks suspension and balls out, I'm going to lose quite a bit of money because I have 0 shares of Jameson Williams. Then David Njoku would have been nice to have him fall to us, but whatever. We'll pivot. I think we're definitely going to go. We're good at quarterback. We got 2 solid quarterbacks, so we're going to go 3 tight ends, maybe even 4. Then after Njoku, Alan Lazard goes. Then Daniel Jones goes. Then Zach Charbonnet goes. Pat Freiermuth, and around the bend, Aaron Rodgers is gone. So let's take a look at what we have coming up. We definitely need wide receivers and tight end. We can wait a little bit on the running back position. Yeah, I see some names I like. And I'm at this point, I'm okay reaching past ADP to get my guys every time. So after Aaron Rodgers is gone, Devon Achane is taken, who I think is a good, sound pick right now because that backfield is very uncertain. But the moment Dalvin Cook signs there, it'll be very certain. Then Alvin Kamara taken off the board. He is now being taken in round 10. If he is not suspended, that is an absolute steal. Absolute steal. Did you guys hear that DeAndre Hopkins is asking for $20 million a year? Like, yes, I know he has the most receptions for any player before the age of 30. But you did get caught using steroids. And now you're no longer using steroids. And since you stopped using steroids and you came back from your suspension, you've been shite. You've been real bad. So I don't think Hopkins is because I don't think Buffalo's going to pay the $20 million that he's asking for. That's wild and outrageous. But then again, they do need to win now, right? If you had to choose between a Gabe Davis and a DeAndre Hopkins, I'm sure a DeAndre Hopkins is a way more exciting pick than that. But if DeAndre Hopkins does end up in Buffalo, I think it lowers the draft position that you would initially take Stephon Diggs. I think it lowers Stephon Diggs' value significantly. All right, so we're on the board. We need a tight end, and we need a wide receiver. So we'll go Rasheen Rice. I like him. And I don't know why I keep saying Rasheen. I know it's Rashee Rice, but having an N at the end there makes sense. Do we go Dalton Kincaid or Jacoby Myers? Quick, help. We'll go Jacoby Myers. We do need the wide receiver depth. I know we have 0 tight ends, but there's a lot of tight end value at the end of these drafts. And we know that because we are following the best draft tier guide and best draft guide and tier lists here on Drafters. It's the Big Drafters Energy draft guide and tier list. And we know that we have this. And since we have this, we're going to do better than everybody else. Sean Wilson says, Disco Drafts 1. Did you subscribe to the channel? Sean, did you subscribe to the channel? Thank you. G. Gentry says, Schultz. Well, shite. Hopefully he falls to us later on. I do have 0 exposure to Schultz, but I think he's in a good position to do well because a rookie quarterback needs a safety blanket. And the tight end position is the best possible safety blanket you can have other than a good receiving running back. So we do see one of the tight ends we were eyeing get taken off the board, but we'll catch you guys up on what happened after we took Jacoby Myers. So after we took Jacoby Myers, Darnell Mooney's taken, somebody who I don't like at all. Sky Moore off the board. Michael Gallup, gone. Elijah Mitchell, taken. Russell Wilson, gone. I have high hopes for Russell Wilson this year. Is it bad saying I have high hopes for Russell Wilson this year? Then Dalton Kincaid taken, Kendre Miller, somebody who I'm very high on but have way too much exposure to. Then, okay, so the tight ends we want are all being taken. Shite. But we shall pivot. G. Gentry says, rookie QB best friend. Absolutely. Absolutely. Dalton Schultz gone. Dang. And you know the good thing about CJ Stroud in Houston is out of all the quarterback prospects that came out this year, he is the most accurate and most, well, I know Bryce Young is proven, but he didn't have an Alabama offensive line to play behind. And obviously Ohio State is no slouch, but an Ohio State offensive line is not an NFL offensive line. Alabama's offensive line is pretty freaking close. So with that being said, CJ Stroud, probably the most proven quarterback in this rookie class. I'm really, really, really high on CJ Stroud. I feel like he's going to feed his players early and often. Tyler Higbee gone, somebody who we don't want too much exposure to. So after Schultz is taken, Rondale Moore goes. Once again, who do you stack with Rondale Moore? Clayton Tune? I'm not going to draft any Kyler Murray unless I see him on the field throwing the ball. Adam Thielen gone. Khalil Herbert gone. Tyler Higbee gone. KJ Osborne gone, who is now a number 5 option in Minnesota. Jerick McKinnon gone, somebody who I think is way too old to repeat what he did in the last couple of weeks last year. I still think CEH is viable, and he's in a contract year. Then Jamal Williams is gone. That's a good pick. Jalen Warren gone. If you have Najee, it's a great handcuff, but he does not have Najee. And yeah, we're all caught up. Now, Sean, guy who Sean Wilson. Did you subscribe to the channel? G Gentry, did you subscribe to the channel? If you did, I really appreciate it. Then Tank Bigsby goes off the board. Somebody who I want to get more exposure to, but I've been saying this every live stream, and I'm still getting no Tank Bixby whatsoever. Jared Goff gone, someone who I want nothing to do with because I believe Hendon Hooker is the future of the NFL. And look, great tight end value, Cole Kmet in the 12th round. We're doing good. We're doing good, kids. After we go Kmet, Alec Pierce taken off the board. All right, we're back up. All right, we go with Greg Dulcich. We have zero exposure to him. I want nothing to do with Irv Smith. I'm laying that out there. I'm laying that way out there. We got a chat. Litton Like a Kitten says Bears O-line should be better. They added 3 significant pieces. I don't know if you know who Nate Davis is, but he played for the Tennessee Titans. They signed him to a 3-year contract. He is a phenomenal offensive guard. They got can't remember his name. Stanley? Is it Stanley? The offensive tackle out of the University of Tennessee. Dude's a road grader. He's a freaking beast. They revitalized that entire offensive line. They even brought in good blocking tight ends like Robert Tonyan, who know their role, who've been in the NFL for a really long time. They can and should go double tight end. They're going to abuse the run like they did last year. They're going to be better at the run this year because Roschon Johnson's there. And yes, Roschon Johnson's an upgrade from David Montgomery. And yes, I know they have Dante Foreman, neither here nor there. And I know they have Khalil Herbert, but Khalil Herbert's going to start off the season first 6 weeks. After that, it's going to be all Roschon all the time. If Roschon Johnson, and I'll say this, I said this before and I'll say it again, if Roschon Johnson did not sit behind Bijan Robinson, well, he didn't really sit. He still got some playing time. But if he wasn't the backup to Bijan at the University of Texas, he would have been in the discussion to be a first-round draft pick. And got picks to trade. Litton Like a Kitten says, and they got great picks to trade back to. Yeah, absolutely. And I think DJ Moore gives them legitimacy in the passing offense. They actually have a true deep wide receiver threat, which will allow Darnell Mooney to step into that slot receiver role if he comes back from his injury. But it also will open up a lot of room for Chase Claypool to win one-on-one jump balls. And Justin Fields, contrary to popular belief, he's not and shouldn't be a run-first quarterback. He's got a huge cannon of an arm. So the way we saw Jalen Hurts take an extraordinary leap last season, become like one of the top 3 quarterbacks, become an S-tier quarterback, we're going to see the same thing from Justin Fields this year. And nobody believed it was Jalen Hurts. Even the Eagles were fielding trade offers for Russell Wilson. Imagine that had happened if the Eagles went with Russell Wilson as opposed to keeping Jalen Hurts for last season. Got another chat. Litton Like a Kitten says, Bryce Young is my bust candidate for the draft. I wouldn't say that. I would not say that. He's another high character kid, high character person, very talented, very athletic. He's got a all-star cast coaching up that offense. They got a really solid O-line. They have a decent running game as long as Miles Sanders decides to love football and play football. But even if Miles Sanders doesn't love football and decides to play football since he signed the bag, I think Chuba is still a really good option there too. So yeah, let's catch up on the draft. After we go Dulcich, we're coming up soon, but we'll catch you guys up on the draft. And I need to look at my next pick potentially. All right. All right, we're reaching way past ADP here, but we like the correlation with Josh Downs and Anthony Richardson. I don't believe Alec Pierce is going to be the guy to step up into that wide receiver 2 role there. I think he's going to play more of a slot receiver, traditional like Julian Edelman, Wes Welker kind of guy. Not because he's white. I know he's a freak athlete, but simply because Josh Downs is a more prototypical wide receiver too. So I think Josh Downs is going to have a couple of big spike weeks, and after round 10, you want to draft for high ceiling because being safe with these late round picks, especially at the wide receiver position, makes no sense. You got to go boom or bust. And that's why we do, 35, 40 drafts. And that's why we're going to do, hopefully 200 drafts by the time season rolls around. All right. So after we go there, we're going way down. All right. We're going to go with Chuba. And I know it's a reach and whatever, but I have told myself this story time and time again that Miles Sanders hates football. He signed the bag. He didn't want to play football until it was his bag signing season. And since he signed the bag, since he got that big contract and a lot of guaranteed money, he knows he could just take it easy if, he gets a little ding. A guy who still loves football and has a lot to prove is Chuba. So if anything happens to Miles Sanders, we know we're in a great situation with one of my top 5 handcuffs in fantasy football this year, which is going to be the next video we're going to put out on the weekend. We so far have the running back cheat code, the way to find the breakout running back candidates. So after the stream's done, check that out. It's very insightful, very informative. And if history is going to repeat itself, then you guys have access to it first. So congratulations for winning your fantasy league, unless you're in it with me. And congratulations for winning your best ball tournaments here on Drafters Fantasy Sports. And then we also put out our quarterback top 20 tier list, but we did our top 20 tier list a little bit differently, as opposed to going like, dialysis by analysis and going stats heavy. We decided to go more storylines and really have the storylines and everything turn into why we came up with our tier list and our tier ranking. And I was shocked when I saw Dak Prescott end up at number 9 on our top 20 quarterback tier list. Absolutely shocked. All right, let's catch up on the draft. So after we go Chuba, Khalil Shakir is gone. Once again, if Hopkins goes to Buffalo, Shakir is absolutely useless. Jordan Love taken off the board, somebody who I want to get more exposure to. He ended up at a tie for number 20 on our top quarterback tier list. Then Matt Stafford gone. I believe he was 19. Dawson Knox taken off the board. Kenneth Gainwell gone. Donta Foreman gone. Tajay Spears. It would have been nice to have gotten that. See, I didn't think about it until I saw his name go off the board. It would have been nice to get that handcuff for Derrick Henry. I forgot that we even drafted Derrick Henry, but it would have been nice to have gotten Tajay Spears as that true handcuff there. Whatever. We digress. We know that Ezekiel Elliott is still available. We know that Leonard Fournette's still available. And we know they're going to sign somewhere, and we know that they're going to vulture touchdowns. So we are chilling at the running back position. Round 15. And Trey Lance, quite possibly a starting quarterback with fantasy breaking upside, is still available. And he's going to be available up until round maybe even 19, 20. Sometimes I see him go undrafted. It's crazy. So after John Mechie's gone, we would have loved to have gotten John Mechie. Robert Woods is gone, so we're seeing a run on the receivers from Houston. Derek Carr taken off the board, who I'm starting to like the idea of, especially if I get a Chris Olave early. Then Tyler Conklin gone, absolutely useless pick. Anthony Richardson's got the bye week of week 11. So we got week 13, week 9 at our tight ends. All right, cool. Litton like a kitten. Since you're in here, Litton like a kitten, we are going Colts heavy. So we are definitely eyeing Jelani Woods. And Snowman said something in the chat, so Snowman's going to snipe us again. Snowman089 says, I have a lot of Fournette, hoping he lands with the Chargers. The Chargers would be a good landing spot. I did not think of that. That would be a very good landing spot for him. Especially since Kellen Moore is the new offensive coordinator. Good take. I really like your take there, Snowman. Good take. So after Tyler Conklin's taken off the board, somebody is taking the gamble on Kyler Murray. I won't ever. Then CEH is taken off the board, which is a great gamble. Chase Claypool, which is my most owned player right now at 43%. He's taken off the board. I would love to draft him in every single one of these drafts, but I need to get exposure elsewhere. Mike Gesicki is gone. It's crazy to see Mike Gesicki continuously go off the board before Hunter Henry. I don't see it. Chase Brown taken off the board. If Joe Mixon suspended, Chase he could have some. Is it Chase Brown? What's his freaking name? All right, then Bright taken off the board. Gus Edwards, Leonard Fournette, Ty Chandler. Great pick. I like the Ty Chandler pick. All right. We'll take Zeke as our 5th running back in the 16th round. So we know we got a couple touchdowns coming our way. I don't care if he signs halfway through the season. He's going to sign, and he's going to sign somewhere, and he's going to step in and be a goal line back. That's all you want. You want 1 or 2 touchdowns in like 3-4 weeks out of these late round picks. You're going to get a spike week out of Zeke. We're doing good. We're doing very well. We got 11 people up in here. Man, what are you guys doing? Huh? I appreciate it. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for supporting. Thank you. If you are here, say something in the chat. Introduce yourself. I'm going to call my supporters, since my name is Disco, I'm going to call you guys my Disco Balls. Yep, I'm laughing at my own joke. Okay, let's go Hunter Renfrow. PPR format, he may get a touchdown or 2. I feel like since he's healthy now, he might get more usage, especially in that Josh McDaniels room. I know they just bought Jacoby Myers in, and Jacoby Myers and Hunter Renfrow are the same person, but guess what? We got them both. So if Myers gets a 6 reception gain and 86 yards, we're benefiting because it's best ball. And if Hunter Renfrow gets a 6 reception game and 84 yards, guess what? We're benefiting. And if either one of them get a touchdown, we're also benefiting. So we did good there. We like our team so far. We will do a lineup conclusion. We'll break down our lineup afterwards. Snowman, did you want us to break down your lineup at the end of this draft, buddy? I know you're in here still. So after we go Renfrow, James Robinson's gone off the board. I'd like to get more exposure to him because if Ramondre Stevenson gets used and abused the way the Patriots should use and abuse him this year because they literally have nothing else going for them, then James Robinson is going to be really good. But I still am not convinced that he's the handcuff there. It might be Pierre Strong. Just depends on the kind of offseason. Taysom Hill, who was my favorite last overall pick in these best ball drafts last season in the 20th round, he had some huge spike weeks. Was he great every week? No. We got another chat. Litton Like a Kitten says, first RB injury, Zeke is going to prove his point. And if you look at the 3 running backs we had mentioned earlier, Kareem Hunt, Leonard Fournette, and Zeke has the least amount of red flags out of all these guys. Leonard Fournette is, quote unquote, been called a cancer in several different teams. Kareem Hunt kicks women and lost a step. So, I mean, like Zeke he's not going to upset a fan base. There's not going to be a movement if Zeke signs anywhere, but the other 2, there might be. Like a Kitten asks, is drafting RBs in the first round for fantasy a dying practice? No. In these best ball tournaments, drafting an RB in the first round is a little less promising, even though historically the people who've won these best ball tournaments do go an RB in round 1 and 2. It's PPR format, right? And there's 3 wide receivers, so you want to make sure that you get as much exposure to all the high volume wide receivers as possible. So yeah, that's why running backs, you see them fading early and often, and that's why there's a lot of really great value. And also people are still high off of the post NFL draft hype, and since they're high off of the post NFL draft hype, they're going to be drafting rookies that should not be going ahead of proven vets who have a lot to prove this year. For example, Bijan Robinson, guy who I love him, but I will never draft him right now simply based off of ADP because he's going in the first round. He's going as the RB2 most of the time, sometimes RB3. But like Bijan Robinson's being drafted ahead of guys like Austin Eckler, Jonathan Taylor. He's being drafted ahead of guys like Saquon Barkley, guys like Najee Harris. Najee Harris, like, he's falling in the 4th round right now. Najee Harris is like the biggest steal. I know for a fact when we look at the winning lineup, whoever wins these drafters best ball tournaments, Najee Harris is going to be on that winning lineup because he's falling in the 4th round. We got another chat. Snowman, in terms of me saying you want me to look at your lineup at the end, said go for it. Went outside my comfort zone in this one, so it'd be good to take a look at. Well, I mean, what you're getting close there to 100. How many drafts have you done, Snowman? I mean, I guess I could just take a look, see here. So this is your 77th best ball draft here. Have you ended up doing your $20 winning ticket draft that you won here on our live stream? Got another chat here. Litten Like a Kitten asks, does Anthony Richardson cut into Jonathan Taylor's upside or help it? I think he helps it. The fact that people are fading Jonathan Taylor because Anthony Richardson is a running quarterback and can take work from him in the red zone, they don't really know Anthony Richardson's history, right? Anthony Richardson didn't really have much of a resume in high school. He didn't have much of a resume in college. All right. We got our third tight end. I like the pick. We got Jelani Woods. I'm very happy. Jelani Woods in the 18th round. We got that Anthony Richardson stackage correlation. I'll get back to your point. I just need to make your question. Sorry, I'll just need to make these picks. Need to lock in. Do we go 4 tight ends here? I think we can afford to go 4 tight ends here. We have 8 wide receivers. We have 5 running backs, 2 quarterbacks, 3 tight ends. We could go. And I don't think we need a third quarterback because I really like our 2 quarterbacks. I think we might go 4 tight ends here. So Hunter Henry's taken off the board. Ugh. All right, we're going to go Michael Mayer. Tremendous prospect. Now playing for the Las Vegas Raiders. Very Gronk-esque. He fits that Josh McDaniels offensive play calling and scheme way more than Darren Waller did, because Mayer can block, and Waller, we know when he's lined up at tight end that he's simply going to just run a route and not really block. All right, so back to your question here. Does Anthony Richardson cut into Jonathan Taylor's upside or help it? He helps it. He helps it. One, yes, he is a threat. And since he is a threat to take off and go in the running game, defensive ends will be less inclined to scrape down the line of scrimmage and, wreck Jonathan Taylor's ankles like it happened last year, because we know that Matt Ryan out of the gun is not going to keep the ball and run. So ends don't have to play honest. Now, the addition of Anthony Richardson keeps defensive ends honest. So he's going to face lighter halves of the box. If you're a football coach, if you're not a football coach, I'm not going to go out of my way to explain it right now. I'm sorry. So that's that. 2, in the red zone, they're not going to try to do yes, Anthony Richardson's going to get his touches in the red zone. He's going to break up big runs to get to the end zone and whatnot. But they're not going to say, okay, well, like Anthony Richardson, he's a freak athlete. We're going to run him when we get to the red zone on a quarterback sneak, as opposed to giving it to this bell cow of a running back who's carried this team since he was a rookie and only had one year where he wasn't relatively healthy. But I mean, it's a contract year for Jonathan Taylor, and I keep going back to the contract year. If you see a running back historically in a contract year, this is the best year that they're going to have. You saw it last year with Austin Ekeler. You saw it last year with Saquon Barkley. You saw it last year with Miles Sanders. You saw it last year with Jamal Williams. You saw it last year with Tony Pollard, right? Running backs in the contract year need to ball out. So Jonathan Taylor's in a contract year. They have not picked up his contract. When he was asked if they're going to pick up his contract, he said, I don't care. I don't care about that. I'm here to play ball. I'm under contract currently. I'm still on my rookie contract. I'm going to ball out. I like it. Another high character guy. And then thirdly, yes, Anthony Richardson, high character. Anthony Richardson, freak athlete, but Anthony Richardson has next to no experience. If you try to put up tape, you're not going to find more than 5-6 games of Anthony Richardson. You might find like 8-9 college games last year, but other than that, there's not much tape on Anthony Richardson. There's not much experience. He simply got drafted that early because he's a freak athlete. So he's still learning the system. He's still learning. And I know that Steve Mariucci had him repeat a play to him and repeat a passing concept and whatnot. But Anthony Richardson needs a year to develop as a quarterback. And the best thing for a quarterback to develop, who's also a freak athlete, is having a great running game. So, contrary to popular belief, I know everybody's saying, "Oh, Anthony Richardson's going to steal red zone touches and vulture some touchdowns." If you get Jonathan Taylor in these drafts in the second round, and he has top three fantasy upside, not top 3 running backs, but top 3 fantasy player upside, you are getting a steal every single time. Jonathan Taylor is the ultimate steal, and I know he's in the second round, but whatever. All right, catching up on the chat. Sorry. Does that answer your question, Litton? Like a kitten? Snowman089 says, yes, I went ahead and used it. Okay, you used that free ticket. Well, hopefully you'll be here with us when we decide to give out some more. And then we got another question here in the chat. Do Colts make playoffs, win AFC South? Do they win AFC South? No. The Jacksonville Jaguars are really good. That division's up for grabs. I think Houston's played really solid football last year, even though they didn't really have the squad for it. And I think under DeMeco Ryans, you're going to see a very aggressive style of defense. All right. We took Justin Ross with our last overall pick. I want to try something with him. I want to have at least one lineup with him. If you guys don't know, he was like the highest recruited wide receiver when he was in high school, and then he went to Clemson and then got hurt. Now he's on an NFL team. He couldn't get healthy for 2 years, but now he's healthy, and he looks great in OTAs. But who looks bad in OTAs other than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterbacks? All right, let's do a do they make a playoffs? There's a chance they make a playoffs. Just to go back to your question, there's a chance they make the playoffs, but they're not going to win the division. The Jaguars are going to be a powerhouse and might even be in the AFC Championship. The Chiefs are not going to repeat. They lost way too much talent defensively. They lost 2 of their offensive tackles. Chiefs are not going to repeat. All right, so at the quarterback position, we got Joe Burrow, Anthony Richardson. At the running back position, we got Ramondre Stevenson, Derrick Henry, Isaiah Pacheco, Chuba Hubbard, and Ezekiel Elliott. I really like our running back room. At the wide receiver position, we got Jamar Chase, Mike Williams, Mike Evans, Kadarius Toney, Rasheen Rice, Jacoby Myers, Josh Downs, Hunter Renfrow, Justin Ross. Holy shit, we went really heavy on the Kansas City wide receiver core. Did not know that. So since we went very, very late with our tight ends, we had to go with a 4 tight end build, and that's the convenience about drafting here on Drafters Fantasy Sports is if you do go for like a quarterback late or a tight end late, you have 20 rounds as opposed to like the other guys who don't want to stay in Ontario. We're not going to say their fucking names. But yeah, you get to have extra picks because they have 17 rounds. We have 20. So we got an extra tight end. Yay. So we got Cole Kmet, who should be productive this year and have some spike weeks. We got Greg Dulcich, Jelani Woods, Michael Mayer. The good thing about our tight end position is, yes, none of them are going to be the most consistent top 5 tight ends, but with any given week, any one of them is going to have a spike week. And the fact that we have 4 really high upside tight ends that can all produce and even, have some really great numbers is very beneficial to us. So before we let you guys go, let's look at Snowman's team. All right, at the quarterback position, Snowman went with Kirk Cousins, Jared Goff, Jordan Love. He really did try to go different. Okay. I mean, it's not bad for value in going quarterback late. I'm not going to judge it. Like, they're all going to have, just like I spoke about my tight ends, you're going to get the same kind of performances with your quarterbacks. One of them is going to have a spike week, and 2 of them are going to suck. Hopefully 3 of them don't suck. At the running back position, you went CMC, Tony Pollard, Dalvin Cook, Antonio Gibson, Leonard Fournette, Matt Breida. See, I can't remember the other kid's name that got picked up by the Giants. And I know Knifey's going to kill me because he was talking about him till he was blue in the face the other night. But I would be more inclined to pick that guy over Matt Breida. I'll come up with a name for you guys. You know what? I'm gonna look it up. Bear with me. It's bugging me that I can't give you guys this information. I'm supposed to be this like fantasy football junkie and head, so I want to leave you guys with good positive information. RB's New York Bear with me, fellas and fellerinas. All right, the running back positions: Saquon, Matt Breida, Eric Gray. Eric Gray. I would be way more inclined to go with Eric Gray. All right. So at the wide receiver position, you got DK Metcalf, Terry McLaurin, Jordan Addison, Quentin Johnston, Sky Moore, Romeo Dobbs, Curtis Samuel, Josh Reynolds, Marvin Jones. It's decent, especially since you went wide receiver late. It's very decent. And then you went with a 2 tight end build here with George Kittle and Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill, like, he's so valuable as a football player because of that quarterback upside where he can go in and play quarterback and you're going to get fantasy points in the flex position for him playing quarterback. We've never seen a player who is a quarterback but also a flex. So Taysom Hill is like the ultimate. He was the ultimate 20th overall pick in these drafts last year. I'm not going to get him ahead of ADP now. Right now he's going in the 14th, 13th round. Don't want him. Don't like it. Yeah, that was a good draft. I really like our team. We did awesome there. Patting myself on the back. My head looks shiny. Thank you, guys. Thank you to all my disco balls. Is that catching? Do you guys like it? Do you guys like being called my disco balls? Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be here at the same time tomorrow. Like, subscribe. Once we get to 100 subscribers, I'm giving away 3 tickets to the Drafters 20 million. Love you guys. See you tomorrow, same time, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Peace.